Tomorrow, everybody. I am on my way to work. Y'all know how it is. Y'all know what it is. It's time for the morning drive. How are you guys this morning? I am the infamous Kiki. Welcome to my channel. This is the morning drive. I know a lot of y'all are out of school, out of work. Y'all lucky, but a bitch gotta go into work. So, yeah. Um, I don't normally. Yeah, oh, wait. First of all, I'd like to say like, share, subscribe, comment on this video. Um, Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I get up here and do. So, everybody who's new here, welcome. You may be watching this. Agree or disagree with what I got to say? Fine. Comment. Go ahead. But if you like my content, normally I do movie reviews, TV reviews. But every once in a while, I do talk about like real life, real shit, real topics. Especially topics that have something to do with my personal life or my personal experience. If it's something that I don't know about or I don't really care about or I don't have any experience on or I don't feel strongly about, I don't speak on it. I don't have TikTok. I don't stay on Instagram. My YouTube feed is full of politics, news, financial stuff, and true crime. So that's what I watch. I don't watch, Real Housewives and celebrity gossips. I don't know who half these fucking people y'all be talking about that I barely see pop up on my feed. I'm not on Facebook a lot. But this video that I'm going to talk about today popped up on one of my political channels, and I was like, Lord have mercy, I gotta watch it because it is a viral video. I will add a link to the description as to where to find this video. It's made national news. It's in the New York Post, and other places, but I just saw it in the New York Post this morning. But it's all over. So if you just Google it, daughter drags or daughter criticizes racist Trump loving father at his funeral, like something around that, and you'll be able to find it and watch the video. It's not very long. I think, like I said, I think it was on TikTok or Instagram. I don't have TikTok, y'all. I'm on Instagram and Twitter and all that. And like I said, I'll leave links to the video and the article and where I watched it, which was Undisputed with Rashard Ritchie. If you don't subscribe to that channel, please do. An Unbossed with Miss Nina Turner. Those are two of my favorite channels. So African American content. So I know most of y'all are gonna be watching this on the rewatch. So that's fine. I know y'all some of y'all sleep in bed talking about y'all like forget Kiki. I'm asleep right now, but I'm headed to work. So it is a video, a viral video of a looks like a biracial. I don't know if she was adopted. I don't know if she was biracial. I'm assuming that she's biracial. I've told that she has made TikTok videos. She has a TikTok channel. I have no idea what the channel is. I've never seen this lady, but she's a young lady. She probably in her early 20s, maybe late teens. She looked young. They showed a picture of her. She looked young, and I think maybe she's biracial. She's either biracial or adopted. I'm gonna say biracial because she looks biracial. But her dad is white. I don't know what her living situation is. I don't know if she lived with her dad or her dad is just in her life. I don't know what it is. But apparently she's posted other videos about her dad. Her dad's white. I guess her mother was African American. And she has had problems and issues before with her father. And that he was a racist, that he was a misogynist, that he was a Trump-loving racist, that he didn't treat her and her sister. She has a sister. I don't know if her sister's younger or older, but apparently he didn't treat her or her sister very very nicely. Apparently he was a racist. He, like I said, a misogynist, is a sexist. And so he died recently. And so she was at the funeral, at this eulogy, which was at a church. And they, of course, they asked the family to get up there and say something. So she got up there and bred the dad for filth. She was like, you didn't try to get to know me. You didn't care anything about me and my sister. You're a Trump-loving, racist, misogynist, basically dirtbag. I mean, she didn't say it in those words. She said it. She said it better than I would have. Because, Miss Kiki, I'm always like speaking truth to power. And so people, you can hear some gasps in the crowd. And then she was like, "I'm not sorry you're dead, at all, and that I wish you would have been the father that I love the fantasy of you of having a father, of the father you could have been, but you didn't want to be, and that you never was. And then yes, me and my sister will take the money and run, bitch." I'm adding the bitch in there, but she said yes. Me and my sister, we will take your money and use your money for good, and use your money. And she's basically saying her dad didn't care anything about her being a black woman, any causes or anything that she cared about, had no interest in her experiences, of what she went through, what happened after George Floyd, and that he was basically a racist. And then people, so a lot of, not a lot of people, but some people coming out saying this wasn't the right time, the right place, and she said that in her speech. Some of y'all are going to say this is not the right time and the right place, but she said in her video, when is the right time and the right place? They couldn't talk about it at home, apparently. You couldn't talk about it at church. So she got up there and used the time where people were going to be able to sit and listen, not walk away from her, which is at a funeral, to listen to what she had to say. So apparently she felt unheard. She said she was tired of just talking on TikTok and Instagram or whatever, on social media, about her dad, and nobody listened to her, nobody paid attention. So this is a great time to put the word out that her dad was an asshole and a douchebag. Well, some people again said offline it wasn't the time or the place, but after she said what she said at the eulogy, we heard some people clap. Some people gasped. Some people said, "Oh no." Some people clapped. So apparently the people that clapped, members of Friends coming out saying, "You know what? She's exaggerating. Her and her dad had a tumultuous relationship, but he wasn't a racist. He wasn't a sexist. He wasn't a dirtbag. He wasn't an asshole." No one so far I know has said that. The only complaint they have is like, well, the funeral is not the time or the place. So in other words, you know this person, you will know what she was saying was right. And again, I tell people, so when is the right time to talk about racism? You people are telling people they can't talk about it at church. That's not the right time. You can't talk about it at the dinner table. That's not the right time. You can't talk about it during family functions and holidays. Oh, that's not the right time. You can't talk about it at intimate moments when you're sitting there with your family. Oh no, this is not the right time. The point is, there is no right time, because nobody wants to talk about racism. Nobody wants to talk about, and I'm not talking about the racism in society. That's a one conversation. Racism that goes into these systems in this country, in politics, in news, in media. That's one conversation. We're talking about the racism that happens in families out here, that nobody wants to talk about, that people are uncomfortable. Not everybody. I'm not saying everybody. There's people out there who have no issues talking about racism, and I don't care what color you are, whether you be black, white, I don't care what culture, whether you're Asian, Southeast Asian, Native American, whatever. Like I said, it's not a black or white thing. Even black people in black homes that I know of, that they don't talk about racism, that they rather live in their own little enclave of blackness, where they go to a black church and they have black friends and they have black family members and black spouses, and then when they go to work and somebody do them dirty, or say something to them or treat them in a certain way that may be racist, they are all suddenly confused. Oh my God, what's happening? What's going on? Welcome to the real world. Hello. You can't. You may place yourself in a black enclave, but I know in America, you have to live in this country, so you can put blinders on and be blackity black all day. But eventually, in your life, somewhere, somehow, you're gonna run into somebody that's not the same race as you. Whether it, and this applies to all people. So unless you just work at a job where it's all black people, I don't know, most African Americans do. Or if you're a white person, you work at a job where there's all white people. Maybe you live in a small city or town. Maybe, I don't know. You may live in a all white town with a white city and white people. But even if you watch TV, you're going to be confronted with people of other races, and even in entertainment. So whether it be black, white, Hispanic, whatever, you can't you know, if you're living in this country or a westernized country, you're going to be confronted with people of other cultures, other races, other sexualities. No matter what you try to do, in your own family, in entertainment, at work, at the grocery store, the law enforcement, government, whatever, you're going to encounter most likely somebody of a different culture, ethnicity, or race, or sexuality. So a lot of people try to bury themselves in the sand and realize they confront this. So I didn't have any issues with her speaking on a funeral, because apparently when people die, you're supposed to get up there and just talk about good things. But what if a person was a son of a bitch? What if the person was a dirtbag? What if the person physically, emotionally, and mentally hurt you? I'm not going to get up and eulogize somebody that treated me awful. So you're supposed to sit there and not say nothing. I don't understand this reverence for the dead. Like when Queen Elizabeth died, I said the same shit. I said people need to have the truth told. There's no reverence for them dead. They're dead. That's a religious, superstitious thing that's a carryover from way back in the day, when people were afraid that the person, if you talk bad about the person at their funeral, that their spirit was going to rise up and haunt you and your family, or whoever talked bad. That's the origin of talking good about the dead. You know, back in the day, people when somebody died, they used to leave windows and doors open because they believed that the spirit had to escape out the house, so they would haunt the house. So we still on this superstitious bullshit? Do you believe in ghosts? Do you believe that if I don't get up here and talk good about this person, their spirit gonna be mad at me in the afterlife and they gonna haunt me in my home? Like, do y'all really still believe that shit? Or some people's like, well, it's not a spiritual thing. It's just a respect thing. Respect for what? They're dead. They're not gonna come back. Or some people like, well, they can't defend themselves. Yeah, but if everybody know in the room, but you have to speak on your experience. And if motherfuckers in the room know that person that died wasn't shit, then you should have the right to go up there and be like, that motherfucker wasn't shit. He lied, he cheated, he was a jerk, he was an abuser. I mean, you should be up there to be truth telling. So I'm tired of this reverence for the dead. Like they're holy now since they died. No, you can talk about the good and talk about the bad, or your experience. Somebody got up there with that man, her father, and had a wonderful experiences with him. But obviously, again, the fact that nobody's refuting what she said is kind of telling. Nobody's up there going, well, she lied and her dad wasn't like that. No, they knew what time it was in that church. They knew what time it was. I don't know if this guy was a member of this church, or maybe they just picked the place to have the eulogy, but most likely it's friends and family and co-workers, and they knew what type of person this man was. So the idea they trying to drag her, I disagree. Or not trying to drag her, but saying it was the wrong time or the wrong place. And again, this speaks to two larger issues. Issue number one, what I've heard people speak on this, but issue number one is, I heard everybody talk about the funeral and whether the time and the place. That's what most people are talking about. But people aren't talking about these two things. Number one, what people need to do about racist family members. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Mostly the majority in this country. The majority of this country, 69% of people in this country is Caucasian. So I'm talking primarily to y'all. Y'all know y'all got racist aunts and racist uncles and racist cousins and racist mama. Hell, mama and daddy are fucking racist. Mom and daddy over here using the N-word. And y'all be scared to call out y'all family members. Not all of y'all. But I'm just saying, my personal experience, I've seen it. Or some of y'all are like, pretend that y'all don't have racist people in your families. So you want to have black friends, diverse friends, and then you want to bring them over. Or maybe you don't bring them over. I don't know. But I'm just saying, in my personal experience, diverse, very, very diverse friendships, I have, maybe not that extreme, but prejudiced family members. So Yeah, and when I say racist, people think you have to be carrying a rebel flag and being a card carrying KKK member. No, or you have to use the N word. No, you can be a racist and not use the N word. You can be racist and not going around carrying the rebel flag. You can be racist and not be in the South. You don't have to live below the Mason-Dixon line. You don't have to be a white supremacist to be like, oh, white people are better than everybody else and we genetically superior. No, you don't have to be a white supremacist to be a racist, to be prejudiced. You don't have to say the N-word to be a racist. You don't have to call people derogatory racist names. Just like you cannot call people derogatory gay names and be a homophobe. There are people that don't like gay people. They've never called them a F or a sissy or nothing like that, but they don't like gay people. By the things that they say and the reactions and the things that they do, that determines the attitudes that they have, the stereotypes that they give to people. That when you get into having conversations with them, real conversations, not conversations about the weather or how's work or how's school or this and that, people are not having real conversations with their own family members and friends. Real conversations. If you are into diversity, if you are not racist, if you are like, hell, I'm not that way, I love everybody, I love and hate everybody equally, then it might not be you. It might not be you at all, boo. It might be, hell, it might even be your husband or your wife that have some kind of feeling, some kind of way about black people. Oh, those black people, all they do is complain and talk about racism all the time. Really? I've heard white people say that. I take offense to that. Oh, them black people. What do you mean, all them black people? What do you mean? You're not black. To me, racism makes no common sense. It makes no sense of whatever. I don't go in my life speaking on other people. I'm not gay. I'm not trans. I don't have gay or trans people in my immediate family that I know of. I have a few gay, few bisexual friends. That's about it. But I can't sit here and be like, well, gay people need to do this and gay people need to do that and gay people do this or trans people do this. I don't know any trans people. I know a few gay people, but they can't speak for a whole community of people. I don't know what gay people go through. I can't be like, well, gay people will have an agenda and they want to. How the fuck would I even know when I don't know? I'm not in a gay group, a gay world. I don't know what gay people go through. I can't sit here and say gay people complain about nothing and this and that and the other because I'm not gay. I don't know what the gay experience is. I can watch documentaries and movies and TVs, but until I've lived as a gay woman, I don't know what it feels like to be a lesbian or a gay man. I'm not a man. So I'm just using that as an example. I'm not a homophobe. I've never said, I'm raising non-homophobic children. I'll raise my kids that you can't speak on other people's pain or what other people are going to get offended about. I'm not Hispanic. I'm not Native American. If Native Americans feel some type of way about certain things, Hispanic people or Mexicans, I'm in Texas, so we have lots of Mexicans here. If they don't want to be called certain things, who am I to be like, well, you need to just get over and thick skin? I hate that shit. I hate that shit that people who are not of a same cultural experience or background or race want to tell other people what they could and should not be offended about, what they could and should stand or should be picky about. Again, I'm not Jewish, I'm not Indian. I'm not going to sit up here and tell Jewish people that they need to not be offended by Kanye West and Kyrie Irving. What the fuck? Just like me being a black woman, I don't want nobody telling me as a woman that what I should and should not be scared of or offended about. I don't want nobody telling me as a black person what I should and should not be offended about. You haven't lived in my skin. You haven't lived in my gender if you're a man. So you can't tell me what women should do or women shouldn't do when it comes to social issues or rights or anything like that, or equality, anything like that, because you're not a woman. You're not a black woman. I have a lived-in experience as a black woman, a straight cisgender black woman. That's this the experience that I'm coming from. I have respect for other people's differences of opinion and their experiences, but I tell people they need to reach out a little bit. Again, I'm cisgender. I don't have to have gay people in my family for me to care about gay people and not be a fucking homophobe. I've had people tell me, well, I'm not gay. What the fuck does that mean? I said, sir, I'm not gay either. So what does that mean? So I should be bothered by gay people because of what? Because of what? I don't have no religion to tell me who I should hate and who I should not hate. So some people, it's religious. When it comes to homophobia, it's religious. Some people, when it comes to racism, it's religious. And that's another thing that people don't want to talk about. Some people, the whole reason why we had slavery, a lot of the reasons besides commerce and money, is religion. Because people are saying that we're the descendants of Ham and we're cursed. And there's some black people going around talking the same shit. That black people are cursed. The fuck? No. No. We got the same blood and the same DNA as everybody else. I got all kinds of DNA running through my veins. So to say that black people are cursed, I would say, so who's black? So is it one drop of black blood? You got a black grandparent, you're partially cursed? Like how does that work? Because there are people out there with skin as dark as mine and they not black. So is it your appearance that determines whether you're black? Are you from Africa determines whether you're black? What about people who are mixed race? Are they partially cursed? Like that's just the logic behind it makes no sense. Just makes no sense. It makes no sense religiously. It makes no sense spiritually. It makes no sense scientifically. It makes no sense that people think black people curse. Then there are black people running around thinking that, oh, we're Jews and we're Hebrews, so Jews are the chosen. So y'all bought hook, line, and sinker into what a religious text, whether it be the Torah, the Bible, the Quran, or whatever, has told you that these are somehow God's chosen people, and you somehow want to feel special. You want to be one of them. Can we be special without that? Without claiming to be Hebrew? I don't. Can we all be special? Can we all be God's chosen people without? Oh, well, we're the original Hebrew. I don't want to be the original Hebrews. I don't. I don't want to be the original Israelites. Why? Why? Because they're no fucking different than anybody else. Is that too controversial? Right. Let the Israelites and the Israeli people have their religion, have whatever beliefs that they have or don't have. That's on them. That's on them. I don't support Zionists. I at all. I don't support people pushing people off of other people's land and all that shit. But I'm gonna hate on a whole people? No, for what? Because as a black person you want to feel special? I don't need religion to make me feel special. I belong on this earth because I'm a living, breathing, intelligent human being. I'm special because I'm Kiki. I'm special. You're special because you're Kiki, not because of your race, not because of your religion, not because of any perceived specialness that some religious text is telling you that you're special, not because of your lineage, not because of where you were born or where you wasn't born. You are special because you are a living, breathing, functioning human being, and you deserve respect and reverence like everybody else. We have power. We have power. Individually. Power. Don't let anybody take that away from you. Or telling you you have to be some special God-chosen people to have power. You don't. So a lot of times, a lot of ignorance and racism comes from religion, which have allowed people to feel like they're better than other people because of some unscientific what tribe of Israel that they came from, or what tribe of Judah they came from, or what priesthood, or they stuff that have been thoroughly debunked about races and nationalities. Because at the end of the day, it's all African anyway. I mean, really, it's all African. It's all Middle Eastern. It just is. That's not my opinion. That's fact. When they talk about Ur the Chaldeans, and you talk about Palestine, ancient Palestine, and all this shit, I'm just like, y'all, you know, they talk about, you know, Israel is Israel. They talk about Palestine, ancient Palestine. They talk about these ancient people, the Mesopotamians and everything. Okay, Iran. Okay, go look up where the modern equivalent of these places is. Africa, 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 and the Middle East, or what they consider the Middle East. So again, they people want to act like this stuff didn't like the Bible didn't take place in some place in some far off distant land where people were, you know, I guess blonde hair and blue eyed and light skinned. They weren't. They weren't. Matter of fact, people back then were probably darker than what the people living there now are. So, but that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, like a lot of it is perceived religious preference. Or, you know, I didn't know this dad. I don't know this man from Adam. I don't know the chick who has the TikTok channel. But, you know, I can tell you that a lot of prejudices and things are stemming from religion. The other issue that I want to talk about, the biggest issue that nobody said on any of that viral video, is the fact that nobody talked about, like I said, I don't know if these young ladies adopted or what, but nobody has talked about if she's not adopted, because interracial adoption is a whole nother topic and another subject. But if she is biracial, let's take it from that point, because this is coming from somebody who has biracial children. My children are both biracial, triracial. So I have interracially dated for a long time. I am down with the swirl, as some people would say. However, there's been a whole movement, let me say, about black women divesting, or black women getting away from black men and going towards black women. Okay? As to why this is a movement, is a thing, I don't know. I'm old as fuck. I'm almost 50. So, to me, I've been interracially dating since I was in my teens. So, to me, it was no big deal. And I'm like, okay, so now is this like a mantra? Y'all know Cynthia G. I don't watch any of these fucking people. I watch Tanya TKO, if you know who Tanya TKO is, because she the only one that talks like she got some sense. All the rest of the Cynthia G and Nyla, whoever the fuck, I don't know, the pink pill people. Okay, I didn't know anything about this shit until 2 years ago. Pink pill, red pill, yellow pill, black pill, I don't know, manosphere, whatever. But I don't give a fuck who anybody dates. I don't care if black men want to date white women. I don't give a damn. That doesn't bother me. If I see a black man with a white woman, I'm not like, ooh, he would have. I don't care. Like again, I tell women, this is not the dick Hunger Games. Some of y'all act like this is the dick Hunger Games. There is enough dick to go around. I promise you, ladies, there is enough black men on this earth. You ain't got to get one in America or your country. Girl, there's dick everywhere. There are men everywhere. Black men. If you want a black man, you can go out there and find him and get him. And again, marriage statistics and dating statistics says that most people marry in their race. Black people are still marrying black people. White people are still marrying white people. Latinos are still marrying Latinos. Matter of fact, the people that marry and date outside their race the most, surprisingly, is Asian women. Asian women marry and date outside their race more than any demographic. So the idea that there's somehow a wave of black men out there Leaving sisters to go to exotic women or white women or Brazilian women or other women. Football players, basketball players, and celebrities don't count. Just because that's what you see on TV. Because these rich and famous men are dating the Kardashians and dating Brazilian models. And people have mistaken that for reality. In reality, brothers are with sisters. Sisters are with brothers. Just because you see it on just because these entertainers or you see it on an ad, they're trying to sell a product to as much people as they can. So of course they're gonna have biracial couples on there. So don't get your panties in a twist, honey. Black men are still dating black women. I don't give a fuck what these people on YouTube is trying to blow smoke up your ass and tell you. They're trying to sell whatever product. They're trying to get clicks. They're trying to get views, whatever. These people are out here, and I'm dubious as to where they get their money from, are trying to turn black men and black women against each other. One of the most educated population in this country is black women. When it comes to businesses, black-owned businesses, black women own more black-owned businesses. Black women, we have figured it out. We have figured out to be educated, upwardly mobile, and people are in their feelings about that. So black women, the higher they get, the more less they look around, and you get into certain tax bracket, you don't see a lot of brothers around. So you're like, okay, well, I'm trying to find somebody that, is on my same level. And then when you get to a certain level, there's less black men, or there are black men, but they're married, they're taken. So a lot of black women, have begun to interracially date. I don't understand that. Black men have been interracially dating since like the 20s and the 30s when black women did not. As to why black women found that just held on, there's a lot of reasons for that. Things they've been told in the home, things that they've experienced, things in the church. I don't know, whatever you want to blame it for, but not me. Not your girl. I have interracially dated, and it for some reason now these days it's a big deal. Why? I don't know. I'm just like, okay, it's a big deal now. Now we're talking about divesting. Oh, divesting. Oh, we must get away from the black man. And okay, so this girl is biracial. This brings me to my point. I tell black women I have no problem with anybody dating interracially, internationally. I have. But I'm asking black women, what are they divesting to? Now, I understand that some black women out there, we're not a monolith. We're not all the same. But for the most part, black women are pretty liberal. Like we're a pretty liberal bunch. But, and I can't speak to this young lady in her situation with her mother. I don't know if she lived with her mother, lived with her dad. I don't know what was going on. But I'm going to tell y'all something very blunt out here. And this applies to black women and black men. There are people out there that will date you because they like BBC. Men, black men. Ladies, there are men out there of different cultures and different races that will date you because you have a voluptuous body. You got a fat ass and thick thighs, and your skin is popping, and you're beautiful. And black women are beautiful, and we age well. We look well, and they will see that and lust after the physical. Black men, like I said, there are white women out there, Asian, Hispanic women, that they want to know what the chocolate tastes like. They want to know, is that BBC? Is it true? Is it true? Is it true, fellas? They want to know. They love the way you look. They love the athleticism. They love the swagger and the sway and whatever like that. They may like all of that, but it doesn't mean that they like black people. So I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. Hello, people in the back. Be careful who you date. Just because somebody wants to get in bed with you and then you have a child with them, doesn't mean they like black people. I know it comes as a shock to some of y'all that people are interracially dating and don't like black people. Yeah, it happens. And it's not talked about enough. So you have to vet. You have to vet thoroughly who you're dating and your preferences. Again, everybody ain't me. Everybody ain't you. But if you're going to date somebody interracial like I do, get somebody who's down for black people. Especially if you're talking about having a serious relationship, having a child. Because Before I had my child and I married my husband, I made him thoroughly understand that when we have children, that the world is going to look at these kids like they black. Regardless of how light skinned my son will always be an other, because my son is brown skinned. Some people think he's Hispanic. Some people think he's part Arab. But he's never going to be identified as white. My son is light, bright, nearly white, but he is always going to be an other. He is always going to be mixed race. Like, no matter what you got to understand that when you get with somebody another race, what you're getting into, what your experience. Because I think some people go into interracial relationships very naive and very well-meaning. But as a person of color, I don't care what color you are. If you're Asian, if you're Indian, or whatever, dating someone in another race, no matter what race it is, it's always has to be something that you have to thoroughly vet the person and ask them. I would not date I would not date a Korean, which I have, and that I wasn't down for Korean people, that I didn't love his culture, that I didn't love his people, that I didn't know about his culture and his people, how to be respectful, how to approach his parents, how to talk. All of that is involved, especially dating someone from another country, like an immigrant. That is really, really, I don't care where they're from. I don't care if they're immigrant from Africa, Jamaica, Asia, Russia, wherever. That's a whole nother conversation. But I'm talking about basically here in America, people born and raised here, dating people of other cultures and other races. You have to be respectful of that person's culture, race. And then also, if you've never dated somebody interracially, and I've had men say this to me. The first question I asked a dude when I was dating, have you ever dated a black woman before? Because I don't date black girl newbies. I don't date white dudes who have never been with black women. I don't date. I would date a Latino dude who's never been with a black woman, because black women and Latinas, there is the same kind of flavorness there. But I tell white men all the time, dating me is not dating a white woman. I'm never gonna be a white woman. I'm never gonna be like the white girls that you've dated. It's neither, I'm neither better or worse than a white woman, just different. Black people are neither better nor worse, just different. It's different between dating a Latina and dating a white woman. It just is. But there are people out there who do not like your race, but they like you, but they like your ass. So that's a conversation I haven't heard everybody is, I guess, haven't thought of, or they scared to talk about. But yes, you can swirl, you can divest. There's nothing wrong with having fun. But when it comes to having a serious relationship, bringing children into this world, you have to know what the hell you're getting into. Because me, if I'm dating you, and like I said, I've dated interracially since I was 18 years old, I have to know what I'm getting into. Because I don't want my kid up there standing up there like that young lady talking about her father. No, you can get the hell on with that. I have never had no issues. Like me and my late husband, baby, he understood. I'm raising a black child. If you're with somebody that's white and they don't understand that when you have fucking kids that in this motherfucking country, they're going to be considered black. They're going to get pulled over and they ass whooped just like everybody else. No one's going to be like, oh, wait, I'm biracial. No. 9 times out of 10, depending on what your kid look like, they're gonna be seen as black. So you have, as a parent who's white, you have to, it'll smack some parents in the face that they've been places with their kids and people not knowing that it's their kids and people treating their kids a certain way, even in their own families. So yes, there's nothing wrong with interracially dating, but the black person and the white person, or whoever the races or the people have to be, they have to be ready for that. And you have to vet your partner carefully. I don't know who this girl mama was, but she had to have known that this man that she laid up with had some kind of racist feelings or something like that. So you have people up here, like I said, I don't know the situation, I don't know. But you got people laying up with people, married to people, dating people. They've had no conversations about race, about anything. Because again, I'm not bringing a child into the world with a racist. Because having a biracial child, you don't know what their experience is going to be. There's some biracial people out there that is black as fuck. Matter of fact, most of the biracials I know of is black as fuck. If y'all don't know who Michi X is, she's biracial with a racist white daddy. Black as fuck. Trevor Noah, black as fuck, biracial. Jesse Williams, black as fuck, in these streets working with these black people, biracial. He was raised by two wonderful parents, white mama, black daddy. Barack Obama, white mama, black daddy. So before you go and divest, understand what you're getting into and thoroughly ask questions about when you're dating someone, ladies. I can't speak as the men, but anybody, but especially my ladies. What I do is, have you ever dated a black woman before? Yes or no? The dudes be like, no. For me, it's a no for me. Because I tell people, I've told dudes before, well, what is your parents gonna think bringing a black woman home? Oh, my family's not racist, baby. Let me tell you something. I have dated people who are like, my parents aren't prejudiced, they not racist, blah blah blah. Have you ever dated a black woman before? No. I started dating this dude the moment he came home with me. His parents, like, he was shocked. Because guess what? The racism showed up. It's different when you sitting at home with your parents and they don't use the N-word and they're like, oh, we're all enlightened and we love everybody and we're Christian. Bring a black person home and see how far that enlightenment gets you. Or bring somebody home of a different race and then we'll see how enlightened your family is. And he learned real quick that his family wasn't as enlightened as he thought they were. I can't believe my family act this way. Because his family didn't like me for no reason. There was no reason for them to like me. I was in college. I was educated, attractive. There was no reason. His ex-girlfriend was a whole hot mess. Was on drugs, didn't go to college, was a nobody nothing. She was a white girl. They didn't like her. And then for some reason they didn't like me. I'm like, I ain't did nothing to your parents. I'm the best woman you've ever been with. All the other chick you've been with was what had nothing going on for them. I was working 2 jobs and in college. I had my own apartment, my own place, no children, nothing. I'm like, I'm not a statistic. I'm not in a gang. I don't do drugs. What's the problem? Then he finally realized that his parents, who he thought was very enlightened, wouldn't have a problem dating a black woman. Oh, honey, they did. Yeah, they did. And so I had to break up with him, which is sad to say, but I can't be a part of your family when your family doesn't like me. Now, if you're willing to take a stand against your family, that's cool. Okay, we can roll with it. But he was not. He just was shocked that he was just trying to get his family to come around. I said, sweetie, your family's not going to come around. So you have a decision to make. Either I'm never going to be around your family and I'm not going to invite it to the picnics and weddings and July 4th. I mean, just a decision you have to make. That's too much for me personally to deal with. So I tell black women everywhere who decide to divest, find a man of any race that have been with black women before. Because again, dating me is not dating a white woman. If I'm in my 20s or I'm younger and I'm thinking about getting married and having a baby, divesting is fine. I have no problem with interracial dating. I interracially date. I have no problem. Do your thing. But don't have your daughter sitting up there eulogizing her racist black father, a racist white father. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because again, as a black woman, I'm not up here talking shit about white people. In my household, you'll never hear those words. We go in about racists, we go in about white supremacists, but they understand that, like, that's not all white people. I don't use derogatory words regarding other races of people. I don't. So you have to be careful who you're having a baby with. Who you're letting your kid hang around. If your kid is telling you, look, dad done said some racist shit, then you have to maybe pull that motherfucker to the side and be like, hold on, what? What are we talking about here? Because again, living in America as a minority or a biracial person is hard enough, from what I've been told. I'm not biracial, I don't know. But the idea of being in a family where having a parent where you are not valued as a person, where you're not valued, whether because of your gender, your sexuality, or for God's sake, your race, something that they help come to fruition. How you gonna lay with a black woman? Have babies by a black woman, but you don't like black people. Again, it happens. There are women out there laying with black men right now that don't like black people, that don't like black women, that don't like black women, that don't like black people. that will make snide racist jokes and then go home to their black husband. There are women out here who will ask you where you going, where you from. They're carrying your ass to death, and they got a black man in the bed with them with biracial children. So you think to yourself, how are they raising these children? That's suspicious. That's alarming. And again, there are black women out here laying with white men who are racist, who could care less about their child. Dad, I experienced this at school. You have to be able to navigate that, especially having kids. You can date whoever you want to and have that experience. But to me, when you're bringing kids into this world, children into this world, that's a whole something else. Something else. Sometimes you have to check your family. Trust me, I have been there. I have been with a man who was down with the brown. Again, my husband, his family, they have some prejudice elements and racist people in their family. I wasn't allowed to go to certain things, but my kid's not going to be there either. My husband understood. I'm not going to be there. My wife's not going to be there. And my son's not going to be there if you don't learn to accept my wife and my child. This is the person I want to be with. You're racist. My husband just stopped fucking with him. That's a stand that you have to be prepared to make. But again, my late husband, he liked black women. My boyfriend, he likes black women. He spent 8 years in a relationship with a black woman who had black children. I've dated white dudes who for the most part, I haven't had no issues with them inviting me to their family, friends, or whatever, because they've dated black women before. They've had children with black women. They understand, I know you're not a white woman. Their family didn't be like, guess who's coming to dinner? They know who's coming to dinner because they know that Kevin likes black women. that he done dated multiple black women. So it wasn't a shock. It wasn't something like, oh my God. I don't want to be a shock or breaking the family into nobody. Again, maybe you do, but I don't. I don't want to be standing up having a child talking about their daddy is racist. Maybe you okay with that? I'm not. That's a lot of burden to be on that young lady up there. It took a lot of bravery to get up there and say what she said. But again, what people are not talking about is the fact that you need to vet carefully who you laying down with. You could be sleeping with the motherfucking enemy. Sleeping with the enemy. For me, sleeping with the enemy is not a choice. For me, if I'm dating, I'm asking questions. What do you feel about George Floyd? People think I'm crazy. But no, I'm not wasting my breath or my time, my energy, nothing on somebody we're not in the same mind. Even though I don't plan to have any more kids in my life. I'm too old to be having any more children. But I do have children. And so if I'm in a serious relationship with somebody, then it comes to the point where I'm bringing somebody around my children, they have to understand that these are biracial children, that the country's going to look at them as being racially mixed or black. It just depends on where they're at. And so, especially in Texas, you're black. I mean, they're people are like, oh no, they're biracial, and maybe up north, yes. Down here, there's not that many biracial people in my neighborhood. My kids are considered black. So whoever I date has to understand that I'm raising biracial children who are going to be considered black. That people are going to feel that somehow, in some way in their life, people are going to feel some type of way as they get older about them. So as a parent, you have to understand that, especially being, like I said, a white parent, having to understand that. And I would never lay up and have children with somebody who didn't understand, or try to understand the black experience, or had respect for me as a black woman. Not just respect for me as a partner, not just because I'm cute, not just because, when I get dressed up or whatever, that, I'm popping, the melanin is popping, and oh, Keisha's so attractive and beautiful, and she's intelligent, and she's funny. Yeah, that's great. But at the end of the day, I'm all that and more. And at the core of who I am, I'm a black woman. So, I'm a black woman. My experiences in life is of a black woman. I've been hated on. I've been discriminated against. I've been picked on. I've been marginalized in many different ways. So I if I have a partner and I want to come home and talk about what's going on, or my children, or like somebody says something to me, mama, because I know it's gonna happen, and then I have to help them process and work through that. I couldn't imagine having a husband or a partner who is a Trump loving racist, who my kid come home and they feel, George Floyd was happening, and I'm sure this young lady was feeling some type of way, like we all were, about George Floyd and about, police brutality. I couldn't imagine this young lady coming home and telling her dad about that, and he was like, well, George Floyd deserved to die, whatever. Da, da, da. I'm not saying the man said that, but I'm just saying that I can just imagine in my mind that things may have been said to that vein, or her being, maybe she's a staunch feminist. The way she did her speech sounded like, women's issues, and I could imagine that you're coming home and you're having a closed-minded partner. I'm not expecting you to understand everything about being a woman and being black, because you can't be a woman, you can't be black, you can't, but the idea that if you're my child, I'm going to listen to you and be like, okay, what's your experience? What's happening? Even if my child takes a path that I don't want for them or didn't raise them, I'm still going to have an open heart and an open mind, listen to my child and respect my child and for who they are and the skin that they living in. Whether they be male, female, black, white, if one of my kids turn out gay or both of my kids turn gay, I'm going to sit there and be like, okay, okay, okay. And we're going to talk about it. But the idea that as a parent, that your parent is a racist, I couldn't think of anything more hurtful. Because, being, you if anything, you at home, you should feel comfortable in your own skin, around your own family. But again, I feel like there are a lot of biracial or adopted children out there that don't feel comfortable in their own skin, don't feel comfortable in families. I know somebody that was adopted by white people, and their family was hated on by people in school. People would look at them crazy, by people in the family who would say things like, why did you adopt her? And, I mean, it happens. And as a child, I think that's just would cause a lot of confusion and second thoughts and second guessings. Like, I don't look anything like my family. And then you got to go out in the world and people are expecting one thing out of you, but then your reality at home is something else. So I don't know if, I'm all for kids going to loving homes and adoptions like that, but I'm all for, if you're going to be a different race and adopting a child, another race, whether they black, white, or white to black or whatever, I think you really need to understand socially how your child is going to be perceived with you being their parent, and how they're going to be perceived when they're out in the world by themselves, and the experiences that they're going to have and the people that are going to run across. Again, what I do in my home, I'm cool with. But when my kid get out there in the world, they're going to be confronted with all kinds of issues and people and things that I have no control over. I have no control how the police is going to treat my son. All I can do is prepare him and speak to him. I have no control how somebody's going to see my daughter. They're going to see her as Hispanic? Probably so. She looks mostly Hispanic. So there's going to be Latinas. They're going to come up to her and talk to her and thinking she's one of them. And then she's going to be like, well, I don't speak any Spanish, and da, 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 and how that's going to be perceived. And then if they move to another state or another country, they're going to be perceived a whole different way, depending on what region you live in and where they go. So they have to have a strong sense of self to understand that the way people perceive you is not your reality. And don't let people talk shit to you and try to perceive your reality. But they get that from home. But if you don't get that from home, how can you have a strong sense of self? And especially as a young lady, you really need a strong sense of self being a minority lady in this world. In this world, not this country, in this world. Being a woman is tough. I mean, it's not easy being a woman. But you have to have a strong sense of self that starts at home. And then if you're having a parent who is saying things and making comments and don't really give a shit about you being black or you being a woman or what you're going through, I no wonder she got up there and said what she said. Because I couldn't, it's inconceivable to me to have children where they couldn't come and talk to me and tell me what's going on in their lives, or the causes that they feel strongly about, or their blackness. They need to understand that, like I said, I don't know where this young lady's mother's at. I have no idea. But I just, when she got up there and said that in the eulogy, I felt her vim and her vigor and her anger and her pain all at once. I said, oh, she done went through some things. Her daddy done said some shit to her that was foul. I mean, God knows he may have been calling her in. Look, I know people that parents be sitting up there talking about, yeah, you know, them niggers. Oh, not you, honey. Oh, not you. I know people I know biracial people that have gone through that. They have a parent up there calling people N-words while you laid up there with a black man. But your kids ain't N-words. But them other people in the neighborhood, whenever you get mad at black people, is all those little niggers. Huh? The, but your ex-husband is black. Yeah, but there's a difference between black people and niggers. I've heard that too. Honey, no. You just want to be a fucking racist. I've heard people say that. There's a difference between niggers and black people. It's a derogatory word that nobody should be using. Black, white, or otherwise. Black people, I don't support music that says the N-word. I don't use that word in my house. I don't use it as slang. I don't use it nowhere. Nowhere. I'll go around calling people the N-word. What's up, my N? No. When I was younger, yes. When I was in the hood and that's how I was raised, yes. Did it take me a while to get it out of my vocabulary? Yes. Was it a conscientious effort? Yes. I don't want anybody calling me a nigga. I don't. I don't like black people. I look at them like, don't call me that. I'll tell them straight in a minute. I don't like it in our music. I don't want white people saying there's a difference between an N-word and a black person. No, it's the same thing. The historical reference of that word is not pleasant. It's not slang. It's not cute. It's not. There's nothing cute about the N-word. There's no nothing. It's used worldwide. It's not something that's just used in America. Some people think that. It's used in other countries in different languages and different connotations. Some bad and horrible, some not so bad. Some people call you negro. It means you're brown skinned. Some people use it in Latin countries. Negro is derogatory. That means you're a darker skinned Hispanic person. And it's usually not used in a good way. And people have fought against this colorism everywhere. So no, I don't want people to tell me that there's a difference and that justifies your racism or justifies why you're laying up with a black man or a black woman. Cause they're different. I don't like black people, but I like you. I know some black people that feel the way about white people. They talk shit about white people all day, but they married to one. How are you gonna talk shit and talk about white people this, white people that, and you married to one? Or you're with one, you had kids with one. I don't get that either. I mean, when I say talk shit, I mean talk shit. Say derogatory things about white people and, oh, you know how those white people are. I'm like, no, how are they? Tell me. Please let me know. Enlighten me. Why are you laying up with one? Have you told the person that you with this is how you feel? I doubt it. Because again, I date white men. They thoroughly know. We're going to have a discussion about white supremacy. We're going to have that discussion. We're going to have a discussion about systematic oppression. We're going to have that discussion. You can't get in your feelings with me about it. Because it's not all white people. You're talking about systems of racism, systems of prejudice. We're going to have that discussion. Let me enlighten you and try to get you to see the world that I would see. And again, if you have a partner that loves you and is like, okay, I want to learn some things, how do you see things? And respect you, respect your intelligence, respect what you're saying, and don't get personally offended. My husband would never get personally offended by anything I was saying. I wasn't saying in a disrespectful way. I wasn't calling white people names. But he understood. He understood, like, by living in the hood and being raised in a black neighborhood, he thoroughly understood that when he came out to the suburbs that it was different. He knew what white people said about black people behind closed doors. And his own family, and at work before they knew he had a black wife, people would say things and he'd look at them and be like, motherfucker, I do have a black wife. My late husband was unafraid to call people on racist shit. All the time he goes somewhere, fucking racist, prejudice ass motherfucker. Like, he was ready to cuss somebody out. Because he understood, he's like, white people shit. My husband be like, white people shit. Like, he would school me. Oh no, honey, they racist. My husband would point out racism quicker than I ever could. Look at them, they racist. Like, that's why they stand. They racist. Really, honey, maybe I be trying to give people benefit of the doubt. My late husband was like, no, I ain't got no, he had no fucks to give nobody. No benefits of the doubt. You're a racist white piece of shit. I mean, that's what my late husband used to say. They're racist. But we understood that all white people weren't racist. But he understood that, like, yes, perceptions of black people and black women are different. But like I said, me and my late husband, we were really into true crime. And so he understood, like, missing white woman syndrome. Like, That's a term been around forever. That if you white, you're gonna get more notoriety if you get murdered than a black woman or a black person, woman, man, period. Even if you're a white man, you get murdered or something like that. Nobody really. It doesn't get a lot of attention unless it's something really, really weird. But yeah, you can look it up. It's the whole term, missing white woman syndrome. Like, if you're young and attractive and Caucasian, most likely, if you come up missing or murdered, the media gonna be all over these 4 Idaho kids that senselessly got killed somehow, and it's suspicious about that. But it's all over the news. When I talked about Shanquilla Robinson, I mean, the only place I've seen it is on social media and on black news stations. I haven't heard a lot. I saw it on I think CNN one time. They did like a little news blip about it. But, a lot of black people, kids come up missing all the time and they don't get no attention. Little black kids go missing, come up missing all the time. You would never even know about it. There's foundations out there trying to help them. You never know. But my husband understood, like, okay, this is the country we living in. This is the situation. And you take somebody to be honest about that and not be offended. It's like it's not nothing against you. He didn't make the system. My late husband and the guys that I've dated, they had no problem. We want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about racism. We want to talk about this. They didn't do it. They didn't feel bad about slavery. I mean, the whole CRT thing just started to have me up here rolling because I'm just like, people don't have discussions about race and racism in their own homes. I believe it. This is dumb to me. I have children. We have discussions about race and racism and what it looks like and what it is and what it ain't. And analogies to get them to understand what it is and what it ain't. And for them to understand that I use a carrot and a stick analogy. On my son, and he understood very well what time it is. The carrot and the stick analogy, for y'all don't know, is there's one horse. There's a black horse and there's a white horse. The white horse has the carrot dangling right here. The stick has the stick, the string, and a carrot. Has a carrot right here. He can easily nibble on it. The black horse is next to the white horse, and the carrot is way, way up high, and it's further away. So he's going to have to walk further to get that carrot. And he's going to have to probably reach up higher to get the carrot. So I asked my son, what's wrong with this scenario? He said, oh, it's unequal. The white horse, the carrot is right here. He can easily get it right there, right in front of his face. The black horse, he has to walk further. Reach up, maybe stand on a box, maybe get the box to stand on, maybe get some help, because the carrot is way up there, it's up higher. So yes, it's unfair because the black horse has to work harder. I told my son, that's part of it. Let me tell you what the real lesson is. I said the real lesson is this. It's not the carrot and the stick and how far the stick is with the carrot. The issue is the black horse and the white horse should get together and figure out who is controlling the stick and the carrot. So the black horse and the white horse should say, you know what? We're not falling for this. We're not going to reach up for these carrots. We're going to find out. We're going to turn around and be like, who's holding the stick and the string? And then the horses should turn around and horse kick that sumbitch. Find out where the carrots come from. And go to the field of carrots and have as many fucking carrots that they want. So that is the analogy in this country of racism. That instead of the black horse and the white horse being mad at each other because one's the carrot's right here and the other one's the carrot's way up here, instead of trying to figure that situation out, who's holding the stick? Who's putting the carrot on the string? Turn around. Oh, it's that motherfucker back there. Well, come on, horse. We're horses. They're just a human being. We're bigger than them. We're faster. We're stronger. We're heavier. So we're going to horse kick this sumbitch. Knock the string and the stick. Break that stick. Break the string. And find out where the carrots is at. And my son, immediately light bulb went on. That's systematic racism. So y'all can use that. I use it all the time. And it always, people think, well, black people got to work harder. No, it's the system that is set up to where people have to work harder. It's pitting people against each other for resources that somebody else set in place. So you have to turn around and decide, okay, so who says this is how it has to be? And then you have to team up and break the wheel. Like in Game of Thrones, you have to break the wheel. So it's not about fighting against each other. It's not about why this white person get this, why I don't get that. It's not that. It's like, who said that this has to be this way? Or who said this has to be that way? That's what you're fighting against. You're not fighting against other people or other races. You're fighting against a system that is pitting us against each other and that makes lots of money and very lucrative, having you dance like a puppet on a string for scarcity in resources when there is no scarcity in resources. There's enough for everybody. There's a whole field of carrots out there waiting to be taken if we would just get over the fact that I don't have this and this person has this and that person has that, when really it's the system that's white people can't help it that we live in a system of oppression. But they have to be enlightened and free thinking enough to understand that and see who the real enemy is. The enemy is not the black horse. The enemy is not the white horse. The enemy is the man holding the fucking stick and the carrot. That's your enemy. And that's how you let people understand what racism and systematic oppression is. Once people understand that and get what you're trying to say, and like I said, I tell my kids all the time, my son was like, okay, that makes sense. Yes, that white people aren't your enemy. Who's ever holding the stick is, whoever that may be. Sometimes the person, because, we live in the kind of system we live, a lot of the person holding the stick may be white. Sometimes the person holding the stick may be black, maybe Chinese, maybe big oil. Who knows? It comes in many different facets. There's many stick holders. And not enough horses willing to kick the stick holder in the face. So that is a lesson for today. So going back to my video, I feel bad for that young lady. And I think the conversation need to be had about interracially dating, picking the person who's going to raise your children, raising well-adjusted children who are well-adjusted within themselves and then also as much as they can in society, and being prepared. Because when you're having a biracial child, you don't know which way they're going to go when it comes to social justice. You don't know what experiences they're going to have having a child. You just don't know. You don't know who they're going to hang out with, what things they're going to see, especially in this day and age. You just don't know. So, if you are a person out here and you're white and you're raising a biracial child, I would suggest please get to know your child's other half and other culture, no matter whether it be black, Asian, or whatever. Don't try to drum out a person's culture or try to Americanize them so bad that they're 30 years old and they confused because they don't know who they are. I don't know who I am. I don't know if I'm black, if I'm white, if I'm biracial. I don't know if I'm white, if I'm Asian. I don't know if I'm Indian or I'm white, or I don't know if I'm black or I'm Hispanic. No. If you raise your kids with a good sense of self and a good sense of history of their people and where they come from and who they are, and have self-esteem in both half of their family. Like I raise my kids, they have pride in the fact that they're Czech. My last name is Czech. People see my last name and like, where are you from? It's my late husband's last name. He's Czech. My late husband was very much proud of his Czech history and his Czech people from the Czech Republic. And then, yes, in German. There's a pride there. That's one reason why I married him, because I love that. The fact he had a sense of culture. Some sense of culture, not just Caucasian, not just American white. Yes, a language, a culture, a history, a country. Like, raise my son in that way. Your people, Czech Republic, African, yeah, best of both worlds. Having a strong sense of self and having somebody that respects a sense of self. I would never raise my kids just being black. I'll tell the kids the world's going to see you as black. My kids tell people in a minute, we're biracial. No shade to the black side, no shade to the white side, but we're biracial. I am proud to be African American. I am proud to be Czech and German. My daughter's proud to be African American. Proud to be Mexican. Proud to be part German. Proud of who they are. Proud of their lineage. Proud of their culture. proud of their food, their language, everything that makes who they are. Their past is their prologue. It's their future, and they're proud of being who they are. So if you have biracial children, you have I think more of an utmost duty than have. If I just had black children, it'd be a lot easier. But having biracial children, it is not easy, and you have to know what you're going into before you lay up with somebody. You have to understand you don't know where the wind is going to take that child. You know. And so you have to be able to have a kid that can blend in both worlds and feel comfortable around any types of people, whether they be their culture or not, their country or not. But if you work on it and have well-adjusted children, your children will never have no confusion about who they are. They will never be up there talking shit about you and calling you a racist, fucking Trump-loving asshole at your funeral. That shouldn't be a thing. But it is a thing for a lot of biracial children I know. It is a thing. Their parents have said horrible things. So anyway, I'm running late. That's it for me, y'all. That's all I got to say. Y'all have a good day. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. And until next time, folks. Bye.